Hello and welcome. I'm just gonna give you guys a short guide on, or well, short and short, we'll see, on how to start creating missions basically, and the framework for it. Because there's been some requests for a video on how to do stuff like this, and well, here we are. First things first, you can't just go on the editor and start creating a mission. You'll certainly notice that if you've tried that you'll end up asking questions like, how do I actually set all this stuff up, right? There are some crucial parts that are needed when creating missions for RG exclusively here. So first things first, we're gonna go on the forum site. Just close all these tabs, and we're gonna go find the mission template that Icarus is so kind to update and put out all the time. And it just happens that it's over here right now, but you could also just go on forums and navigate through theirs to find this thread, or just go into downloads. But to give you the more in-depth guide here on what's going on, we're just gonna go on the thread here. And to begin with, you'll end up here with the newest update and everything. Here he shows everything that's updated and writes it down in a nice orderly fashion. And if I were to try and explain what this template specifically is before showing you, I don't know, it would be sort of confusing. So I'm just gonna show you what you need to do, and then hopefully you'll understand while we're doing it, right? But to note, here's the changes he put out on the latest update, which is version 405. And here he also notes, if you're already working on a mission, don't worry about updating it. Simply start using the latest template once you start making a new mission. The mission manager will make sure that the module is removed from older versions and that the CBA settings file is updated. Okay, so here he just gives you some sort of clue on what's going on, right? But what we want to do here is go on the page 1, right, where you'll find this mission file can be downloaded here. I'll press that link, or you'll find it on downloads, whatever, because here you see we managed to get onto downloads, and here it is. It'll show the latest update, and you just press download, and you save the file. I just happen to actually have just saved it, but whatever. We're just gonna go and open the file, or the location of the file, right? And you'll notice it's a zip file. So you're gonna need something to unzip it with. If you don't have that already, make sure you download some sort of software that can do it. I would recommend WinRAR, although I'm sure there are others who recommend other stuff. Never mind. And then you pack that file, and I just pack it out here. Oh, yeah, I already have it here, but whatever. Yes to everything. And it should show up here in a folder. It might show up in a folder within a folder. The stuff you need is the folder that contains all this. This is the folder you need, right? So I'm gonna copy this. And then I'm gonna go to wherever you're gonna have this Arma 3 profiles. With me it says other profiles, but it might be this one, where it just says Arma 3. If you happen to only have one profile or whatever, this happened. I don't know when this happened or why this happened. It just happened, and I just took note of it, and here's where I need to be. It's basically the folder file where you'll find the profile you currently are using. So with me it's PFC Marius, right? And here you'll have some sort of stuff. If you don't already have this file, just go onto the editor and create something. I don't know, but you'll need to navigate to this multiplayer mission file, or folder rather. And again, if you don't have it, go onto the editor, just load up a map and save it, and you should have a map like this, or a folder, sorry. And here you'll see all the missions I have, right? I'm gonna paste the mission template and just ignore all this, because this you probably won't have, right? But once you pasted the mission template folder in, you should have this show up, right? RG mission template 405.altis, because it's on the altis map. And when you press it, this is what you should see. You should see functions, image, scripts, version number, mission SQM, CBA settings, all this stuff, right? And now here comes another part. Is I'm gonna open Arma. I happen to have it already opened. I'm gonna go onto the editor. I'm gonna press whatever map, doesn't matter right now. I'm gonna let that load in. Ugh. Please excuse the loading and stuff. I'm not gonna edit this out because I can't be bothered really. And then I'm gonna go on to scenario, where I'll press open. I'll navigate myself through these folders that will show up, and I'll go into the folder where it says MP missions, where I put this mission template folder, right? And here it is, RG mission template 405. I'm gonna open that folder, and suddenly we're loading into Altis. And we just let that load. Take a sip of water while we're waiting. A new snooze maybe, yeah. Now, to note, this is probably something that's gonna show every time you create a mission or whatever. You're gonna have some error messages. Don't worry about those. If they are important error messages, they will be investigated and fixed when they are passed on to Wilhelm for inspection. So don't worry about those to begin with. And here you'll see lots of new stuff you probably never have seen before if this is the first time within the editor. Let's just go over what we're seeing on the screen to begin with. On the top left here is like basically stuff you can change. Say settings, you can change your video options and stuff. You can go into tools and stuff, attributes. We'll go more in depth here. And on the left bar here, which you can actually might only show like this, but you just need to expand it if it doesn't show, right? Here's the entities that are on the map. And if we check this folder out, it says blue 4. And when it's highlighted, it highlights this character, the admin fella, right? And here's empty, all the boxes that are empty. These are objects basically. Systems, we'll go over that in a second. Markers, oh yeah, markers are important because that's part of the respawn maybe. Unit folder, this is not normally how you'll see stuff when placing down units on your own. This is just Icarus place them in a folder, right? But here you'll find desert, and then you can go to gambler command, gambler, and now all the desert gambler units are selected. Here they are. Here's a pretty. Well, hold on. Which one? Yeah, this is Stabs, as you can see when it says Platoon CEO Captain Stabcon, because that's the role description this character has. And here's Wilhelm slots, right? Here's 3-0, I believe, yeah. And here you can see you can guess is the like the squads and all. Here's Arrow, here's Blade, here's Jazz, sorry, Cutlass, and here's Dusak. You'll see there describe the name of the roles. These are basically the units that you choose in the role selection screen whenever we are loading up a mission, right? Or the training server. Okay, this is all the asset stuff. You can also go to history. That's what you been using. Blah blah blah. You get the idea. Now the reason we loaded up to this mission template folder is for a single purpose, and that's how you're gonna get these units and the stuff you need onto the mission folder and map that you choose to create a map or a mission on. So let's say I wanted to create a mission on Chernarus. I would somehow need to get all these units that are nicely configured with all this stuff here and everything here nicely and smoothly onto this new mission I'm gonna create, right? And a quick way to do that is to just highlight everything. Make sure you get these modules that are placed down. We're just going to place them a bit closer here for easier sake. Highlight everything, right? And then I'm just going to go right click, whatever on it. Save custom composition. Press this. Here you'll see all the composition I already have. But let's just give it the name of mission guide. Of course you choose your own, whatever fits you. And you could choose category, and for fun's sake let's just call it the category of A10A Warthog skins. Okay, I press, and where do I find it now? I immediately get set here to compositions and then custom. Here I'll find my custom compositions, and here it is on the top. And when I press it, you'll see it shows what is about to be placed down. If I left click, I place them down, and here is everything you need, right? Well, almost everything. It's the crucial parts, right? But you could do it in a more orderly fashion. Maybe you don't want everything. You just make sure you highlight what you want. And let's just do it quickly, because let's say you only want the MTP units, the MTP camouflage units, and all the other crucial parts. So I'm gonna delete desert camo. There you go, they disappeared. Jungle, snow, right? I don't want this. I don't want this. I want the flag. Let's say I want the crates, just for... You don't have to, because you'll find the crates here on objects, props, and boxes. You can place them down your own. But this is a nice way to just... I always just have this with me, so I can have some sort of idea where I want the crates, and then I go in more details of how I want to place them and what I want to remove, etc. What I need more. Make sure you also get these. I'm just gonna put them a bit closer. And here are some trucks and shit. These are nice to have, so you don't have to go looking for them. You can just, let's say I want this camouflage. So here's the fuel, here's the ammo truck. And if I wanted more of them, I would just Control C, Control V, right? And I want these as well. These are the service points. Service point air, service point ground. They are linked to a module, which is very nice, so you don't have to do that yourself. And also the missile carrier for rearming. These are used for jets. Very nice to have when Talon wants to rearm something on a jet. Or I do believe they actually are used for attack helicopters as well. It's a long time since I created a mission. I don't remember. I always go over stuff like this. Okay, I'm just gonna. That's the thing I put down earlier. And now I have everything I want. As if I wanted to create an MTP camouflage mission, right? Oh, and also, this one here is important. This is the respawn. You could create a respawn on your own. If you forget to save it, you do it by going on is it systems? No, it's markers. Go on markers, all the below here is systems, then empty, place it down, and you give it a variable name of respawn west. It gave me the error message because there's already another respawn with this variable name. But basically, this variable name calls upon every blue forv unit, hence the west, to respawn on this location. That will be here. If you put respawn east, I believe that's the call for up4 units to respawn there. But it would only respawn playable units, and so I make sure to select everything. And then again, save custom composition, and I just call it. I already have one MTP units and system, right? Okay. Now the important stuff with this mission templates is done. This is why they are here. So whenever a new update is done of a mission template, make sure you note what is the difference, and make sure you replace those differences of what you already have in your custom compositions. So if Icarus had changed something within the MTP section, I would make sure that all my custom composition involving these MTPs are resaved within this new mission template folder. Okay, if that makes sense to you. If my English is very bad and sentence structuring and all this, just feel free to send me a PM and ask questions. Sorry. And now for the fun part. When you have done all this, you can start creating a mission, or well, you can begin the groundwork for it. So let's say I want to create a mission on Livonia. I'll load that map. And here, once it's loaded, we're gonna go over some more crucial stuff. Close all. Oh, here we are. New map. Okay, let's say I want the airfield to be my base. Well, actually, first of all, go onto scenario, save as. It's actually, you can do this whenever. You can already have begun laying out the groundworks for your mission. You can already have placed down units and everything. But this is a thing that has to be done in order for the mission and the folder to work properly with the server, I believe. So I just save it in mission MP missions, where I'll easily locate it as RG, let's say, mission test or mission guide. Save. Oh. I'm not too sure if you need to have this toggled on, but for safety measures, make sure it's toggled on, because this is how I operate with it. I believe the reason if you didn't want to have them toggled on is that you would be able to do some crazy ass shit with the SQM file. We'll go over that later on, but keep this binarized, okay? For now, at least. If you're an expert on stuff, maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm not an expert either. I recently only just began making missions. I'm not a pro at all. But anyways, we saved it as RG mission. I'm gonna go onto my folders, and I'm gonna go documents, Arma 3 other profiles, where I'll find my profile. Right, This is because you're saving the mission while you're on your profile. Okay, that makes sense. Then go to MP missions, and here I find it, RG mission guide, right? But you'll notice it's empty. It only got this mission SQM file. Now the SQM file is the mission itself. This is the map that we have. If I had units down here, the units will be inside this file, okay? But what you need to do, and make sure you do, is that you go onto this RG mission template folder, which we have downloaded, and then you deselect the RG mission template SQM, because that's the altis that we were just on with all these units and everything on, right? We don't want this copied on to our file, because that would just replace it. Then we would be back on altis with whatever Icarus had put down. But we want everything else, and we're gonna copy it. Please excuse everything on Norwegian, but we're copying, okay? And I'm gonna go back to mission, and I'm gonna go on to this folder we just saved with this single mission SQM, and I'm gonna paste everything in. And here we go. Now this folder looks almost exactly like this one. Well, it does look exactly like it. And what we have here is basically functions, scripts, and like files that are crucial for the mission to operate intendedly and and basically work with the server, okay? We're gonna go over some of these stuff here that you can change. You could always, if you're a script dude and you know how to script, you could also add your own scripts if you know what you're doing into this folder, okay? And make sure it's called upon when you're creating a mission, whatever. You'll know what to do if you know how to make scripts, right? But once this is done, you can basically go back to creating a mission, right? Now let's say I want to place down the units that we're gonna use. I want to place down RG. I'm gonna use this mission guide. Oh wait, I'm gonna use fuck it for so I don't use stuff that I already have done. I'm gonna use this mission guide we actually saved in the beginning, right? I'll get everything here. Close the error. Oof, now everything popped up. I'm gonna collapse all for order's sake. And I'm gonna delete what I don't want. I don't want desert, I don't want jungle, I don't want snow, I want empty piece that's there. I don't want this, I don't want this, I want this, I want this. Oh. I don't want these tents, this I don't want. Here's the crucial part, right? Now I can move them around for where I want people to spawn in. So I want Talon over here. These two groups are actually Talon as well. They are the vehicle crew units. And here's Vegas. Just put everyone here, right? Whatever. You get the idea. You place them around where you want them. But also, more crucial parts is to make sure you got the respawn where you want it. Right? Because we actually did save the respawn as well. I did go over how you can create your own respawn, right? So you can do that as well. But let's say I want people to respawn here. That would be here. Okay? Now, I'm gonna go over some stuff that are also crucial that you need to do. And that's to go on multiplayer on attributes here. And then you go to game type, and you go into cooperative mission. Put minimum players 1, max players 60. These are, as far as I know, important for the server to basically run the mission properly, because the server is, I don't know, somehow linked to this. Don't ask me why, This is just how, okay? This is what you do. I don't know all the whys. And then we also disable the enable AI. Because if I have the enable AI on, you'll see it reads, when AI is enabled, all playable characters are created at the scenario start, controlled by AI. Upon joining, a player takes control of an existing character. When AI is disabled, a new character is created for each connecting player. Server host can disable AI even when it is allowed by default, but still, you want to disable it. Because if it was on, all of these units would become AIs unless they were controlled by players when we're loading in. So let's say Blade is missing 2 guys. 2 of these would actually be AI when loading in. And we don't want that. And take note, this option only affects playable characters. And when you put down a blue 4 unit like this, let's say Churner's Infantry AA Specialist, we go here. I double left click to go into the settings here. You'll see playable is not a default thing that's showed. So if you, for some reason, want to create a playable character that are not part of this unit composition, then by all means go ahead. Or, well, not by all means, make sure you check with Wilhelm, because he knows stuff that are allowed and not. Okay, where were we? Yeah, we were on this, and we disabled the enable AI. We also want to go on respawn. And we want to switch this disabled respawn, because now no one will be able to respawn, to respawn on custom position. And you want the rule set to be just show respawn counter. And let's just give it a respawn delay of 10 seconds, which I believe is the standard. And for the revive, yeah, you just keep disabled. I'm not sure if some of this is changed for insta death. I haven't created a mission for the insta death yet, but whatever. That's it. That's what you need to do on multiplayer, and that's actually what you just need to do. And on performance, you can change whatever. Actually, not here. It's on environment. Here you can change weather and date and all of that. Okay. Play around, explore. Now we're gonna go over something more in the folder, because when I load in with, let's say I save it. Okay, so what I was gonna show you was how to change the the stuff it says when loading onto the mission, which you'll probably notice is different every time. It's like maybe a new picture, it says the mission name, who created it, blah blah blah. This you change within the description.ext file. I'll open it with a proper software for programming or whatever you want to call it. And if you don't have one, I suggest you get Notepad++. That's the one I'm using. I like it. It's nice and clean. It's free as well, so don't worry about that. If you're familiar with programming or whatever, you'll probably know what all of this is. But if you're not, don't worry. It's like a second fucking language. So don't mess around too much with stuff like this. Keep it like it is. But the things that you can change, which I'm gonna show you, is very specific part. These things here. Now it says here on the left what they are for. They don't give too much sense, but with some testing and trials, I've come to the conclusion of how to do it. Like I said, I'm not an expert in this shit. Or did I maybe not say that? Well, at least here it is. I'm not good at this programming language. So I'm gonna have the loading screen say the name of the mission. So it's gonna be mission guide. Make sure it's within these quotation marks. And I'm gonna change that to the same one. Don't know why. I just know I'm doing it from trial and error. Might be that you don't need to do it this way specifically. This is just how I do it, and it works for me. Okay. If you know better, then you know better. The author is not the Icarus anymore. Now it's me. I'm gonna say Marius there, right? Unload mission should say the same, I believe. Again, don't know why. Trial and error from my part. Overview text. This is like the funny little part, I believe. No. Oh, here I almost did a nice mistake. This one is the funny part, as well as the three below, I believe. Whatever. So the funny part is gonna be hello to no. Say hello to my little friend, right? And for some reason I'm just gonna do it like this. So unload, overview, and overview text locked is gonna say the same, right? Again, don't ask me why. It might not even be this way that is needed, but this is how I do it, and it works. So I'm happy with that. Unload mission time, I don't fuck with. You could possibly fuck with it, I don't know. Ask someone who knows better than me. And here's another sweet little thing you can do. You can change the picture that is shown on the loading screen. And basically it's calling upon the images folder mission.paa. And that's, you can find here within your folder. This one, it's calling upon this one. But you can also call upon more pictures, which Icarus has made a little text here so you can easier find what you need to write if you want to call upon something else. This is what we're just gonna call upon default picture. It's nice enough. And then I'm gonna save. That's it. And to show you the effects of this, I'm gonna press play multiplayer. This is what I use for testing. I just press OK. And here we go. I get the role selection screen when I press blue for. Don't worry about these. These are just one of the modules. Again, don't worry about them. And I'm just gonna pick this, and there we go. Cooperative mission guide by RG Marius. Say hello to my little friend. And there's the picture, which we didn't change. And some other stuff I almost forgot to mention about, but I managed to think of it. And it's sort of important. And that's the performance you want to give your mission in regards to the server. And not always what you want, but what is required. Because you might have this grand idea of a grand mission where you're placing unit after unit after unit all over the place, and group with group and all these objects. Well, there is a limit to what you can put down. I don't have the exact figures, and they are also very dependable on the map, how heavy the map is on the server, whatever. Contact Will for more specific stuff. If you want some sort of guidance, some tips, just speak with Will. He knows a lot more about this. I'll just give you the rough idea so you sort of understand the concept. So if I were to create like a mission where I had lots of objects out, okay, let's say Okay, that's this small compound here. That's a lot of objects. And this big compound here. That's even more, right? But let's say this is roughly like a good amount of objects. This is like on the edge, I would say. On generous autumn, this rough amount of objects, including the amount of enemies I had, which also were on the rough maximum end, that was well beyond. That gave some bad performance. Okay, so keep in mind this is objects plus lots of enemies, so roughly like 200 units and 30 groups maybe. Um, and that's like another thing. So this one here, this single guy, that's a unit, but he's also a group. He's grouped alone. I could add another unit, so let's say I had him here. These are two groups, with a group consisting of one unit each. In order to, what I could do is I could group this guy to this guy. Now it's one group with two units. This the difference is, let's say, fuck. The difference is with these, like this guy and this guy, when they're in a group of their own, are more performance heavy than if they were grouped together. So now they're less of a performance burden. And why? Well, each group has a leader, and the leader gives out commands and whatever, which the server has to handle and calculate and all that. So the more groups, the more shit the server has to calculate and give out and whatever. I'm not an expert on this, but that's basically how it functions. And so that's why you have like a limit of let's say 30 groups. That's like a good amount. And then 200 units, or maybe yeah, roughly there. I'm sure there are. It's very dependable, and you'll always get feedback from Will when you're giving the mission to inspection to him. He'll help you out on that part. Alright, so here's a little example. Let's say this is objective 1, objective 2, and then you have objective 3. And let's say this is the limit of amount of units you feel you could place without giving too bad of a performance on the server. The way you can work around this, you have two ways of working around this, three, you can combine them, is when Gambler has cleared this part, the enemies here will of course die off, and then you will clean them away, deleting their corpses. Their corpses will also be deleted mid-mission by the server itself, blah blah blah, and they'll move on to objective 2, and these units will also die and get deleted, that blah blah blah. And let's say it's likely Gambler is gonna do a resupply here, and you're like, oh yeah, I can just fill out this third objective mid-mission with what I want, right? Yeah, that's a way of doing it. So mid-mission they're doing resupply there, you start filling out this town, and when they're done resupplying, or while they're coming down the road, you're finishing up, you're done. It's all good. You suddenly have lots of enemies here that you created mid-mission. That's one way of doing it. And now for the video to cut off to a very other specific part, unexpectedly. I tried to explain previously in some recordings how dynamic simulation works, but I couldn't really explain it very well. It's not a system that I'm like a fucking expert on, but it's something I use all the time on my missions, and many other mission makers also use, and is part of the second and third combined solution you can use when you reach your limit of units and groups you can put down because of the performance burden. And that is this thing here called dynamic simulation. And since I'm so poor in explaining it, I'm basically just now telling you it exists. It's not a crucial thing when you're a beginning mission maker, but if you're interested in it, I suggest you read upon it, watch some guides on YouTube, whatever. Maybe you can even contact me when needed, and I'll talk with you and explain you through it. But basically, a unit can be either simulated or not. And when it's not simulated, it does nothing. It's just sitting there on the map. That's the only performance burden it has on the server, as far as I'm aware. It doesn't give out orders. It doesn't react to stuff. It just is there. And you can manually enable something that is not simulated. But I believe that's a very hard solution on it. But instead, the developers gave us the solution of dynamically simulating something, meaning something can be not simulated, and then after a certain criteria is met, it can be simulated. Meaning, you can place down the limit of units you have on the map somewhere, and then let's say on the third objective, you crucially want some sort of unit that is needed, but you can't possibly place mid-mission in the SUS because it needs scripts, it needs to do certain stuff that takes too long to set up, blah blah blah. Then you can use this dynamic simulation thing, which is effectively controlled by the distance a unit with the capability of waking it up. So you could control the simulation of something by the distance of, let's say, a gambler player. And yeah, so that's my rough explanation of this system. It's I would say it's actually a crucial system, but I'm really poor at explaining it. I've tried several recordings, but I couldn't make it a good recording of it. So here you go. Here you know about it. Do some more research, ask around, contact me in person, and I'll go over it with you in case you want to know more. But I highly suggest you play around with it. We research some of it. And this way you learn the best, right?